So, hello everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. This is your worksheet number 5 for your ongoing crash course series on modern Indian history for Prelims 2023. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss the topic of revolt of 1857 and the subsequent administrative changes which the Britishers brought in India. Okay, so let's start without wasting any time. The questions. There were very few questions from this topic which are most probably are expected in the examination because the topic is focusing on a one event which transformed the rule of the Britishers in India. But anyway, consider the following statement regarding the Government of India Act 1858. Government of India Act 1858 came immediately in the aftermath of revolt of 1857 when the British government took over the regime from British East India Company. Prior to it, Government of India actually worked as per the Cornwallis Code of 1793. Okay, and this Government of India Act 1858 kept on maintaining the rules and regulation in India until Government of India Act 1919. Always remember the Indian Council Act, whether it was 1861, 1892 or 1909, were only regarding the legislative rules and regulations in India. So in 1858, Secretary of State was made the president of erstwhile Board of Control. This is true. The Board of Control for Political Affairs was actually established in 1784 through Pitt's India Act, and that office was given to the Secretary of State, who was a member of the British Parliament. Okay, so the first statement is right. In a way, making this made sure that the British Parliament have a direct say in what is going to happen in India. Viceroy was a direct representative of the British Crown and was made the supreme authority in the country. This is actually correct. Now, this is very important that you know this. A lot of students think that the office of Governor General was replaced by office of Viceroy. But this is wrong. This is not what happened. Okay, office of Governor General was not replaced by office of Viceroy. Actually, Viceroy's office existed simultaneously with the office of Governor General. Office of Governor General was an executive branch office, and office of Viceroy was the representative of the British Crown to maintain relations with Indian princely states. Okay, Britishers made sure that they went for next 90 years between 1858 and 1947. They appointed a single person on this position, always making sure that never ever any issue, any crisis came between these two offices. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind, and the statement number 2 is right. The Queen of England assumed the title of Kaiser-e-Hind. This happened in 1877 when Lord Lytton, on the advice of the then British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, gave the title of Kaiser-e-Hind to Queen Victoria in the Delhi Darbar. Okay, this has nothing to do with Government of India Act 1858. The third statement is wrong. First and second is right. B option is correct. Question number 2. Viceroy or Governor General and their specific policies. Now, Lord Lytton, Lord Dalhousie, Lord Wellesley, Warren Hastings and John Lawrence. Policy of masterly inactivity. Okay. Then this second one is doctrine of lapse, then the ring fence theory, ring fence doctrine, subsidiary alliance, policy of proud reserve. Now, I hope everyone already know very well the doctrine. Lord Dalhousie was someone who implemented doctrine of lapse extensively. Okay, for those who don't know, doctrine of lapse in some another format is something very close to doctrine of lapse idea was also implemented by Ranjit Singh when he was taking over power from the other missiles to become the leader of all the 12 missiles. Okay, but anyway, among the Britishers, it was Lord Dalhousie who implemented it after coming to power in 1848. And so 2 has to be correct. 1 and 2 is in all the 4 options, so that has to be correct anyway. Now, Lord Lytton, masterly inactivity. No, we know even in the case if you don't know whether Lytton implemented masterly inactivity or not, you should know this, that Lytton was hyperactive. He was the one who sent the forces in Afghanistan in 1878. So he is not going to implement masterly activity. For otherwise, one needs to know that masterly inactivity was the step taken by John Lawrence. Okay, it was the proud reserve which was Lord Lytton's idea. Okay, so the first and the fifth both are wrong. So wherever it is written, those are wrong, and by negation itself you can get the answer A. The A one is only correct. Okay. Otherwise, Lord Wellesley was someone who implemented subsidiary alliance, and Warren Hastings was someone who implemented ring fence theory. Okay. Let's move forward. What was the significance of Sepoy Mutiny of 1857 in Indian history? It marked the beginning of the end of the British rule in India? Surely not. The transformation took place. The end of British East India Company rule surely happened, but not British rule. It resulted in the modernization of India? Also, surely not. It marked the turning point in Indian nationalism and demand for independence? No, not at all. Even after this, you will see 1885 onwards, the major aim among the Congress members was to inculcate the feeling of Indian nationalism. So this one is not correct. It led to an increase in the British repression and control in India. This is actually correct statement. Okay, surely the repression increased even further, and the Britishers isolated themselves from the Indian culture even more. So the D option is correct. How did the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857 impact the Indian Army? It resulted in this disbandment of Indian Army. It led to reform and restructuring of Indian Army. It resulted in increased mistrust and discrimination towards Indian soldiers. It had no impact on the Indian Army. Surely it is. Fourth one is wrong. It resulted in disbandment of the Indian Armed Forces. This is also wrong. Army continued to be there. It led to reform and restructuring of the Indian Army, and it resulted in increased mistrust and discrimination towards the Indian soldiers. The C option is actually correct here. That is something one has to know, that the discrimination even more increased. Okay. Reform and restructuring also happened. In a way, one can say B and C option are also very close, but surely the mistrust increased so much so that in Bengal, for every 3 native sepoys, Britishers appointed 2 English sepoys, and in Madras and Bombay, for every uh, 5 officials, 2 were appointed. 5 native officials, native sepoys, 2 British sepoys were appointed. Okay. Yeah, so that was done just because of the increasing mistrust, and that was the main answer here. So C is the answer. How did the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857 impact the social and cultural fabric of India? It resulted in increased unity and cultural exchange? No. In the aftermath of revolt of 1857, British government treated Hindu and Muslim communities separately in a different manner. Muslim were blamed more, and because they were in the leading position of erstwhile Mughal Empire, so Muslim community always felt that the action of Britishers against them was far more severe, and this increased the frustration and animosity among the Hindu and Muslim communities, and increased the cleavage in the Indian society. It led to a social and cultural division and tension. This surely happened. It has no impact on social cultural fabric of India. This is wrong. It resulted in a revival of traditional Indian culture and value. This is also wrong. The B option is correct. Fine. What was the significance of the Indian Council Act of 1861 in Indian history? It introduced the system of representative government in India. It increased British control over the Indian government. It provided for a limited expansion of Indian participation in legislative council. It marked the end of the British rule. Surely it didn't mark the end of the British rule. And limited expansion thing happened in 1892. Okay. It increased British control over Indian government. This happened surely. Okay. It introduced a system of representative government in India. That didn't happen. So the B option is correct here, and that is the answer. Okay. So since I told you this topic is not that big, this is a smaller topic, and I hope this video was helpful to give you some basic idea the kind of questions which are going to be asked from revolt of 1857. Surely the revolt of 1857 are no more going to be about who won, where, and what. Those things won't be asked anymore, but the impact on the society is something you have to focus more while studying. We have focused on that in our classes, so make sure, if you haven't watched the classes yet, go to sunyaias.com and watch the classes. If you have any query, question, difficulty, please contact the team on the given phone number. That will be all for now. Thank you and have a nice day.